Hello, my name is Manisha Gupta and I'm the caretaker here at Ananda Permaculture Park. Today I'm going to take you for a walk around my garden called Bhulaiya, which means the maze in Hindi. We call it the maze because the beds here are all made in sort of random shapes and you literally have to find your way around them as you go from one end to the other. So come, let's get started. Now this part of Bhulaiya is actually under the mango grove. So you'll see mango trees all around me and also some other smaller trees like custard apple and hill lemon and bananas and papayas. And under these trees, we've actually built beds on which other plants are growing. You'll find that they are last year's plants, which are chilies and brinjal. And then in the middle of all of this, I've planted a lot of lettuce. And it's good to have the lettuce close to our house, and this falls in zone 1. So, one can see it very clearly and like pick it up very quickly whenever we want some. So there's brinjal and there's some lettuce. And also I have some kale growing here, though this is not the kale patch, and also chamomile. This is the first time I've planted chamomile. And I'm excited to see how these plants do. And I'm finding that as it's getting colder, they seem to be doing better. And there are a couple of bok choys and cabbage. Actually, these are the first few plants I'd planted in the winter. And here are some brinjals which are actually doing quite well, even though they were planted almost a year ago, but they are still having a lot of brinjal growing in them. And look at the flowers, they are like, it's flowering very well and doing quite well. Sometimes these plants tend to sort of dry up in the winter and then I retune them, but it hasn't reached that stage yet. So I'm happy about that and still sort of feeding off it. And even the Italian basil here seems to be still going strong, though it is getting a bit cold. And we're going to cross over this path now, which we actually made recently, and you would not have seen it in our previous videos, because we've connected our visitor center and the main path to our side kitchen entrance. And this is the path that we've built, and we've lined it up with nasturtiums. And some of you may know that nasturtiums are also edible flowers. So we've been picking out nasturtiums and putting them in our salads. But let's cross this path and see what's on the other side. So here amidst the bananas, this is still going strong. I think this is Gomfrina. Even though it's now pretty cold, this is very much a summer flower, but it's still blooming and looking very, very pretty in our vegetable garden. This is another big brinjal plant which is doing really well. You'll see it's all over the floor. It's actually quite sort of big, but it hasn't started wilting or getting any kind of a rot in it, even though a few of them are getting spoiled. But I can see some really nice, big, healthy brinjals here. Check this out. This is star fruit, and it has a lot of fruit on it. You can see it right here. The star fruit is always very well camouflaged. Actually, one can rarely see it because it looks very much like the leaves, and you have to look very carefully to spot it. It is actually quite laden. It has loads and loads of star fruit on it. These are the tomatoes that we've just planted, and they have started bearing fruit now. You can see that the fruit has started forming, and I'll just twist this around here. I've trellised all the plants up. I've seen a huge difference in the productivity of tomatoes once you trellis them up. I'm a big believer in trellising. So this is radish. You can see there's radish, both white as well as red. You'll find some red here as well. So this is our radish patch. We come here often to pick some radish. And this is our herb garden. So you'll see here there's sweet basil, There's holy basil, there's Thai basil, and there is Italian basil, and all of them are still going strong. So I'm a little bit surprised and maybe even confused, because I remember last year they had sort of all died out by this time because of the winter. But they seem to be still going strong, and I'm not complaining. So I did have very good luck with beans in October. So normally one can plant beans twice a year, maybe around February, March. That's a good time for them to germinate, and then October or so. I first planted them in September, but it just got washed out in the deluge that we got in September. Then we replanted them. But I still have a bunch of plants, and they are giving me a good bunch of beans. So enough for me to have for my meals, but not so much that I can take it to market. Let's go on and see. This is the herb garden that I already talked about, and there's another horseshoe bed coming up here, which is again filled with brinjal and radishes, and you will see up there a nice tree of star fruit there. Now, these are really big and ready. Actually, they're quite ready to pick. These are all ready to eat. This one as well. Did you see my little island in the middle? This is, I'd barely put like a few plants, and just see how much they've proliferated. And these bryophyllums, I think is what they're called, make for very nice house plants. These beets are doing really well. And in fact, some of them you can see here are starting to form now. So soon we'll be able to pull them out. And of course, you can use the beet leaf as salad as well. But this is my grapefruit tree, this one and that. But it's been a few years, and I still haven't got grapefruit from them. I'm not sure what's the issue. I just hope I've not cut off the grafted stem and kept the rest of the plant here. But if you have a grapefruit in your garden, do let me know at what age it started fruiting, because I'll be very curious to hear that. And finally, on this edge, we have some more tomatoes. You can see they are nicely trellised, and fruit has started setting on these plants as well. All right, this is our papaya circle, and you'll see that all the compost waste from this garden, from Bhulaiya, is actually dumped into these pits, and this is what it converts into. Just delicious, healthy, big papayas. So again, very little work. No, I can't reach it, but there are at least 2 or 3 here which are ready to be picked, and I'll be doing that soon. Finally, some more tomatoes here, and again, they've also been trellised up. I just cut some of the branches of this tree to make sure that enough sunlight is coming here as well. And of course, on this edge, the northern edge, we have more papaya circles and more papayas, because that's where water comes in from, and the water that flows down ends up watering all the papayas. So that's really what's happening in Bhulaiya. It's quite a busy garden, but it's very well stacked, and almost all parts of it get light, which is really nice. And I would think that in all of Ananda, this is really the best example of stacking, because so many different species growing together between trees, shrubs, herbs, vegetables, root vegetables, even creepers in the summer. We managed to grow a lot of things here just by designing the garden optimally. So that's it from me today. I hope you enjoyed this little walk. I'll be showing you much more of Ananda in subsequent videos. So do remember to subscribe and to click on the notification bell icon so that you are notified every time we upload a new video. Thanks for coming along with me. Take care and stay safe. Bye-bye.